loss to our dear country. May I therefore crave the indulgence of this honorable House to observe a minute silence in his honor. Signed, Representative Musa Bagos, Jos South, Jos East, Pere constituency. Honorable Bagos, you are not the chairman sports. I thought this thing should have come most appropriate coming from the chairman sports. However, we observe and we appreciate your concern. Thank you. Announcement. This is to announce the passing of Alhaji Umar Sani on Saturday, 28th November 2021 at the National Hospital. He held the position of Director of Finance and Supplies, Clerk of the House of Representatives, and later Clerk of the Senate. He is survived by 2 wives and 9 children. The House is hereby invited to observe a minute silence in his honor. May his soul rest in perfect peace. Signed, Chinedu Francis Akubwezi Izi, Clerk of the House of Representatives. This is another announcement coming from Honorable Batera Aliu, Chairman, House Committee on Appropriation. All chairmen of standing committees are hereby informed that corrections of harmonized reports with the Senate counterpart will close today, Wednesday, 24th November 2021 by 5 p.m. Please, all concerned are advised to make executive submission of the MDS in the event of failure of standing committees to harmonize and submit to Appropriation Committee today, Wednesday, 24th November 2021. In addition, all members who have not submitted their zonal intervention and capital projects should comply as well. Thank you, Honorable Mukhtar Aliu Batera, House Committee on Appropriation. I think this is like a kind of extension. The announcement took effect yesterday, but I believe because of the short notice, the chairman and the committee deemed it fit to extend to today. And by that, I'm deploying and employing all our colleagues to budget report to the House. Thank you very much. Any member who has a petition to present to the House may please write to do so. Yes, Honorable Chris. Sorry, before your a reminder, before your petition, can we all rise for 1 minute silence? Just gentle sorrows in perfect peace. Yes, Honorable Chris.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My respected colleagues, I am Honorable Chris Emeka Azubo. I represent Nnewi North, Nnewi South, and the Ekusigo Federal Constituency. I'm from Anambra State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to present a petition on behalf of Sumto Keke & Co., a legal consultant. The petition is against the Central Bank of Nigeria on their regulatory control and on companies that are dealing with cryptocurrency and their merchants by freezing their accounts. The petition is properly detailed, and the content of the petitions and even lawsuits that they entered into on one CBN are all included here. And Mr. Speaker, may I, by the leave of the House...
Photographer, where are your marks? Channel's cameraman, where are your marks?
Speaker, I represent the good people of Away, Doma, and Kana Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker. I am from Nasarawa State, the state of solid minerals. I rise to present a motion of urgent public importance under Rule 8.
Yes, sir.
The need.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues. My name is Dennis Peter Hosa. I represent Ovia Federal Constituency. I'm from Edo State. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my colleague. I so second.
Motion say aye. Against any? The ayes have it. Colleagues, go ahead and present the motion, my brother.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The motion is on urgent need to tackle the recent spate of banditry attack on Abuja-Kaduna Highway, Mr. Speaker. The House knows the recent attacks by bandits along Abuja-Kaduna Highway. Also notes that on Sunday at about 2 p.m., there was an attack that led to the kidnap of many travelers and the reported death of a former Zamfara State governorship aspirant and a one-time Direct Line News. The gunmen opened fire on travelers, making many drivers to lose control while many passengers who attempted to run were fired at. Note that another attack was also reported on Monday, 22nd, as were abducted and vehicles destroyed. That the rate of this attack have caused a lot of panic in the hearts of citizens and travelers who ply that route. Resolved to call on the Chief of Army Staff, the Inspector General of Police, and head of other security agencies to take speedy action in curbing these daily concurrence and banditry attacks on our highways. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, my brother, for you, boy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, Honorable Comrade Chinedu Oga Owen, representing Ikwo Ezasa Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion, able moved by my colleagues. I hereby second.
Lead the debate, Honorable Nelaraba.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My highly respected colleagues. Mr. Speaker, we are all aware of the present security challenges currently bedeviling this nation. And we are also aware of how many Nigerians are being killed as a result of these incessant security attacks. Mr. Speaker, it's worrisome to note that on Sunday, bandits along Abuja-Kaduna appeared to carry down an attack on innocent Nigerians. And Mr. Speaker, it's more worrisome that these attacks continue consistently. As I'm speaking to you at the moment, there are roadblocks in Abuja-Kaduna Highway. Mr. Speaker, we are no longer safe in this country. Mr. Speaker, Abuja-Kaduna Road, I think, is one of the most busiest roads in this country, especially during weekends, where Nigerians, both prominent and high-ranking, always ply these roads. It will interest you to know that, Mr. Speaker, even the head of security agencies, some of the top military personnel, generals, cannot move freely from Abuja to Kaduna, even with their escorts and high level of military attachments to them. Mr. Speaker, not even talk of the less privileged Nigerians. So it is high time, Mr. Speaker, the House need to move to order the security agencies taking on attack consistently, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I think it's something that the security agency needs to do something about it. And it's in particular area called Regina. And this Regina, there are a series of security reports that that bandits are being grouped in Regina, and there's nothing is done about it. Mr. Speaker, if care is not taken from Regina, they will advance to Suleja, to Abuja, and we'll all be affected, Mr. Speaker. So I'd like to urge this noble House to call on the head of security agencies to please look at this issue of security challenges bedeviling our nation, in particular this issue of Regina, a small community, a small satellite town that cannot even compare to a larger town, Mr. Speaker. What we are talking about is not a forest like the Zamfara forest. This is a small community that has been ganging up. And there are a lot of security information that report that there are bandits and terrorists ganging in Regina, and there's nothing is done about it, Mr. Speaker. We lost a promising young Nigerian, former gubernatorial aspirant. We lost a lot of Nigerians on Sunday, on Monday, and on Tuesday. At the moment, the report we are hearing, there are bandits, there are roadblocks on the road of Abuja, Kaduna, Mr. Speaker. So something needs to be urgently done, Mr. Speaker. I so submit, sir.
Yes.
What's outside?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues. Let me wholeheartedly bless and thank the honorable member who have brought this motion as a matter of urgent public importance. Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleague, you will recall that in 2019, the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria took $1 billion to invest into security. Even without recourse to the National Assembly aligned, because it's a security issue.
Sorry, sir.
In 2020, Honorable Speaker, a case was made for security, and a lot of money was also budgeted for. The question the honorable colleagues raise is not only on Sunday, it's on daily basis. On daily basis. Many lives have been lost, unannounced. Unannounced. Because a prominent politician has been killed. It became a national issue. Every life is very important. Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, we have a committee of the House, both on army, both on defense, both on police. We should mandate that committee to be giving us briefing every month. Today, we're interrogating issues as regard budget. And if you estray 2022 budget, you agree with me with no doubt that chunk of the money is security. Even when Nigerians can hardly feed. Mr. Speaker, let us clean our own house first. Let them give us reports on a monthly basis. Let it be one of the resolutions. That a joint committee of all securities committees should be briefing the House every month. If not even briefing the House every month, should brief the principal officers every month. Then the House every quarter. Because we need it. It will enable us to interrogate on security issues. It's not only Kaduna Road. Kaduna is one of the, Kaduna to Abuja to Kaduna and to Kano is one of the busiest roads in Nigeria today. And Kaduna is the center of excellence in the northern region. Of what essence are we sitting in the House? Even Nigerians are applying, because first of all, most of our agricultural produce come from the north. It goes to the south. How will the people doing this business be able to transport most of these goods down to the southern part of the country? That means the end point is hunger. That's the end point. So, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, let me again thank you for bringing this motion as a matter of urgent public importance. And we should treat this matter with the speed of light it requires and dispatch it. Also, another resolution, aside from his prayer, that the House also mandate the Security Committee in the House to brief the principal officers on monthly basis, 1. 2, on quarterly basis, brief the House on the security situation of this country. I so submit.
Fellow colleagues, I believe this is a very important matter before us. Security should be everybody's business. And the House have taken several and many resolutions regarding the safety and property of our lives and property of all Nigerians. I beg that we put the question because of the enormous task ahead of us. Part of it is no, he will give us the amendment to other matters as scheduled. And remember, today is the last day for budget reconciliation or harmonization. So thank you very much. Yeah, amendment. Move your amendment.
To make a monthly report to the principal officers of this House, that is A. 2, also make a report available to the entire House on quarterly basis.
Mr. Konda, Dederi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Honorable Haruna Isa Dederi. I represent Kara Rogo Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker. I'm from Kano State. I rise, Mr. Speaker, to second the amendment just proposed by Honorable Osai. I so second.
Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Again. Short title.
Character Commission Act Amendment Bill 2021, first reading. Public Complaints Commission Act Amendment Bill 2021, first reading. Federal College of Entrepreneurship and Skills Acquisition Ijebu-Ife Establishment Bill 2021, first reading. Federal Medical Center Regasa Kaduna State Establishment Bill 2021, first reading. Prevention of Lifestyle Diseases Bill 2021, first reading. National Board for Arabic and Islamic Studies Establishment Bill 2021, first reading. Customs and Excise Management Act Repeal and Enactment Bill 2021, first reading.
Respected colleagues, the second business of the day is presentation of report of the Committee on Health Institutions on a bill for an act to amend the Orthopedic Hospital Management Board Act Cap 010 Laws Federation of Nigeria 2004 to provide for the establishment of Orthopedic Hospital Azari of Borno State and for later matters. Standing in now, Honorable Pascal Obi, Honorable Obi is invited. All members will recall that the bill was referred to committee on Tuesday, 10 June 2021. The report is ready for presentation. I now invite Honorable Obi to present the report. Sorry, sir. Are you the chairman? Not member, deputy. Please, I will beg of you to allow them to come and present their report. Please. Presidential report stated by the for the House. The first order of the day is the third reading of Bill for an Act to amend the Institute of Chartered Chemists of Nigeria Act Cap 1.12 Laws Federation of Nigeria 2004 to provide for the role of chemists and regulations of practicing fees by members of the Institute and for related matters, standing in the honor of the House Leader. I now invite the House Leader to read, to move that the bill read third time.
Acting House Leader. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Distinguished honorable colleagues, I remain Dr. Abubakar Yunusa, representing Yamal Tudeba Federal Constituency. I am from Gombe State, standing in as the acting leader of the House. A bill for an act to amend the Institute of Chartered Chemists of Nigeria Act, Chapter 1.12, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to provide for the role of chemists, the regulation of practicing fees by members of the Institute, and for related matters be read a third time. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Seconder. Yes, sir.
My highly respected colleagues, Abubakar Hassan Nelaraba is my name. I represent the good people of Awedo Makiana Federal Constituency and from Metro State. I rise to second the motion ably moved by the leader. I so second. Thank you.
In favor of the motion, say aye. Against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk will invite the doctor to the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to amend the Institute of Chartered Chemists of Nigeria Act, Cap I-12, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to provide for the role of chemists, the regulation of practicing fees by members of the Institute, and for related matters. Third reading.
Yeah, if you give me, I'm leaving. Yes. Respected colleagues, the second order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principle of a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal University of Health Services or to PO, Benue State, and for related matters, standing in no of House Leader. All members will recall that the bill was transmitted from the Senate, seeking for concurrence of the bill, and it was read the first time on 8 July 2021, and I invite the leader to move that the bill be read second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Once again, I remain Abubakar Yunus Ahmad, representing Yamal Tudeba Federal Constituency. I'm from Gombe State. A bill for an act to provide for establishment of Federal University of Health Sciences, or TUPO, Benue State, and for related matters, as enunciated by Mr. Speaker, be read a second time. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
From Benue State, I rise to second the bill be read the second time. So second.
Lead the debate. Leader. Acting.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Once again, this bill, which is seeking for the establishment of Federal University of Health Sciences, it has been brought and then deliberated well in the Senate. We were not there, but when it was brought here for the first reading, we went through it when it was listed, and then this one now for the second reading, we also went through it, and we perused it. We have seen the need, actually, that there has to be a proliferation of health sciences institution because of our growing number, because of our population, and then the challenges that keep on cropping up as far as health matters are concerned. And you cannot tackle health problem until you are properly kitted the advances of all these health challenges. Recently, just about 2 years ago from 2020, our health institutions, our health sciences and scientists were really rendered porous by the advent of COVID-19. Up to now, we have even the Delta standard that is still killing, and it is killing people on a daily basis. Suffice to say that Nigeria was actually rated high because the rate and then nevertheless, when you see even the news bars as of midnight yesterday, we still have some cases of 46, 70, thereabout in the state. That is not portending well for us, and people are dying on a daily basis. Now, this is only COVID. What of the advent of cholera? What of the advent of so many other diseases? So, the more we have health institutions, and especially universities for that matter, that will provide for clinical, laboratory, and whatever things that will help in curbing this menace, I think it's a welcome idea. That to be raised a second time to enable this institution to come in place. And more so, that is being situated in the Benue Trunk, where very soon we are going to have a lot of activities in terms of oil exploration. I so submit, Mr. Speaker.
Those in favor of the motion that the bill be read second time say aye. Against say nay. That's have it. Clerk is invited to read the long title.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to provide for establishment of Federal University of Health Sciences, Otukpo, Benue State, and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to committee of the whole. As well as the third order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principle of a bill for an act to repeal the Federal College of Dental Technology and Therapy Act 2017 and enact the Federal University of Health Science Technology Bill Inugu to make comprehensive provisions for management and administration of the university and for related matters. Standing now, Honorable Toby, which honorable members will call the bill, was read the first time on September 2021, and now invited on the Kochku to move that the bill be the second time. Move that we step down. Toby is not on the seat.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to move that this bill to be stepped down. I so move.
Bill stepped down by leave of the House. The fourth order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principle of a bill for an act to establish the National Institute of Industrial Technology, Kwale, Delta State, and for related matters. Standing now, Honorable Osai, Nicholas Osai, honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 14 July 2020, and now invite Honorable Osai to move that the bill be read the second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues. I remain Honorable Osai, Nicholas Osai. I represent local Okwani Federal Constituency of Delta State. I'm an Okwani man. Mr. Speaker, I move that a bill for an act to establish National Institute of Industrial Technology, Kwale, Delta State, and for related matter, HB 946, be read a second time. I so move.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Kola Odetaiwo. I represent Ajeromi Fellow Federal Constituency. I'm from Lagos. I rise to second the motion as moved by Honorable Osai. I so second.
Lead the debate. 30 seconds.
And I represent local Okwani Federal Constituency of Delta State. Mr. Speaker, you will agree with me. Industrials to meet the challenges of our emerging industry today. A case in point today is where we imported about 1,500 Chinese technicians to build our railway. It then means we are not developing our home. There are many technology coming up from an industry today, globally, who were groomed from day one on these kind of institutions. Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, the industries we have today will not boil themselves by training and retraining BSc holders, B engines, but this institution will make available the personnel that are needed by this level of manpowers. I think that's one of the key benefits of establishing this kind of institutions. Today, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, just like as I said, the main major functions of this bill are clearly stated in the bill. First, to study, train, and develop techniques in civil, building technology, chemical technology, electrical technology, mechanical technology, tailoring and textile technology, catering and hotel management, creative arts, including carving and wood, fine and industrial arts, ceramics. These are the imports of training. These are the import of this institution, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleague. The question is that what is the outcome or the benefit of the people who are going to be trained in this institution vis-a-vis our economy? For advancement of some basics scientific learning for the development of industrial technology, Mr. Speaker, it brings about faster and easy way of achieving results. Because when you train somebody with skills, achieving results is a takeaway, and you take it to bank.
Thank you very much.
On this ground, I rest my case.
Thank you. The question now, those in favor, amendment of the bill. When it comes to committee of the whole, assuming you can move for the amendment, but for now, it's the just principle. So the question now is that those in favor that the bill be read as a content say aye, against say nay. That's have it. Clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to establish National Institute of Industrial Technology, Kwale, Delta State, and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to Committee on Tertiary Education and Services. Respected colleagues, the fifth order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principle of a bill for an act to establish the Federal Polytechnic IIT or your state to provide courses leading to the award of diploma, higher national diploma, and allied fields for the administration of the institution. And on Wednesday, 27 November 2019, I now invite Honorable Ajibola to move that the bill be read second time.
Thank you, our Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. I am Honorable Dr. Ajibola Muraina. I represent Ibarapa Central, Ibarapa North Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I'm from Oyo State. Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I rise to move, pursuant to Order 12, Rule 4 of the Standing Orders of the House of Representatives, that the bill, diploma, higher national diploma, and allied fields for the due administration of the institution and for related matters be read a second time. Right Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I beg to move.
Seconder. Yes, sir. No.
people of Oshodi Solo Federal Constituency 2. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my friend, Honorable Murano Ajibola, for the second time. And so second, sir. Thank you.
Honorable Murano, lead the debate.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues. I rise before you to seek the indulgence of this House and pray for the second reading of the bill on the establishment of Federal Polytechnic, Ayete, Oyo State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, what is the background? 79 polytechnics. 31 of these polytechnics are owned by the federal government, the rest by private individuals. The polytechnics in Nigeria are certificate and diploma awarding institutions, and many of them are under the jurisdiction of the National Board for Tertiary Education. Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, the main objective of this bill is to provide an act for the establishment of the Federal Polytechnic Ayete Town. What are the benefits of this bill? First, it will provide the legal framework for the establishment of this Federal Polytechnic. The Polytechnic will have the capacity of this Federal Polytechnic in Ayete. We create job opportunities, not only for the indigenes of Ayete, but for all Nigerians. It will impact positively on the social and economic activities of the town. This bill, if approved by the leave of this House, and the Polytechnic is established, we enhance the economic capacity of this country because it will afford more Nigerians to have more opportunity for tertiary education. Nigeria will be able to train and produce more of technologists, technicians, and people with management skills and ability. This bill will also expand the space for admission into tertiary institutions, and it will also give an impetus to the STEM education. STEM education, as we all know it, is the deliberate integration of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics into our educational system. And of course, this will also impact positively on the educational standard in this country.
Honorable Brano, 10 seconds to run up.
Right, Honorable Second reading. I thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. This is a very straightforward bill, so the question is that those in favor of the bill, second time say aye. Against say nay. That's it. Clerks is invited to
Federal Polytechnic Ayete, Oyo State, to provide courses and for related matters. Second reading.
refer to Committee on Tertiary, alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 to make justiciable the fundamental objective and right. Members recall that the bill was read the first.
My highly esteemed colleagues, I'm Sergius Ose Ogun. I represent Isan Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Constitution, and for related matters. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Seconder.
Abubakar Hassan Nalaraba is my name. I I rise to second the motion ably moved by my respected colleague, Honorable Sergius. I so second.
Sergio.
This is a bill for an act to amend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended to make justiciable the fundamental objectives and directive principles of state policy contained in Chapter 2 of the Constitution and for related matters. Mr. Speaker, this is an amendment to the Constitution and this is your baby. I would just go through in maybe a minute. We'll do the nitty-gritty. Mr. Speaker, the fundamental objectives and directive principles of state policy as enshrined in Chapter 2 of the Constitution are further broken down really in sections 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. They are the basic things of life that the government should provide for its citizens. But Section 6 taking away the powers of the court that are ousted. So, Mr. Speaker, what this bill is basically saying is that it should be amended. That's the long and short of it. It should be amended so that people can take the government up when they fail to deliver on some of these basic objectives to the society. So, Mr. Speaker, I urge the House to support this bill and for it to scale through second reading. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Monguno.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, my name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Marcha Monguno, Nganze Federal Constituency of Borno State. In as much as I support the spirit behind the amendment that is sought to be made to the Constitution with a view to creating a society that is just, egalitarian, within the contemplation of the amendment that is sought to be made by the sponsor of this bill is utopian in nature, because if this bill is passed, it's an invitation to chaos and anarchy, because there is no state that will guarantee to the extent of allowing it to be justiciable, putting food on every citizen's table, or of level. It is not achievable. It is utopian in nature. So in order not to create a scenario, litany of litigations filed in our courts, we should not play to the gallery. We should be realistic in whatever we are doing.
Against?
Ordinarily, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, I would, without being questioned, align with my fellow brother, Honorable Mongonu. But on a second note, Mr. Speaker, and food to its citizens as a sense of governance. And that's why those who advocated for democracy say it's the government of the people, by the people, and for the what? The people. Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleague, today, United States of America, it's a certain amount of money. That's the essence of government. Every person going into governance must aspire to that particular office. We have aspired to defend our people by making sure we have a voice, and our voice and sounding. Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, you see, why I say this is this. We will make argument collectively. We can also buy in this bill. Let's bring our experts to also jointly look at it with us and see the merit or how we can be able to say, put a clause to make it a little malleable, but making government more focused.
Thank you, Honorable Osai.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Speaker.
Hembe.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Herman Hembe. I'm from Benue State. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to you that we should make some of the items that are contained in the raise the issue, for instance, social nets collapsed countries. Examples abound. Venezuela, the USSR, and a host of others. The only thing that works is a system where people work and earn their keep. When you begin to say, for instance, that someone's right to social security should be justiciable, it will therefore give him money for free to the ordinary ear. They are fantastic. But when it comes to implementing them, you will find all manner of problems. It is good for governments that are humane to give benefits to people when they know that there are difficulties. For instance, this government has been giving all kinds of loans and grants to people because of the COVID pandemic. Should you then allow people to sue if they don't get anywhere in the world? Even in the US, where he used as an example, you are not empowered to sue the government for not giving you freebies. I call them free because it's free. You don't work for it. You cannot sue. If the government is humane and feels that the people need it because of one problem or the other, the government will introduce those kinds of arrangements. And not everybody may get, because it simply may not be able to go round. Will you then say that the people who are not privileged, like I know people who didn't get these intervention funds, or people who are not part of the Empower scheme, should they then go to court and sue the federal government for not giving them the money? So I think that these things, as fantastic as they seem, should remain in the realm of fantasy. When you bring those kinds of things into normal governance, you collapse the system. I'll give you a final example, like I mentioned earlier. Venezuela, when Hugo Chavez became president, it became almost an inalienable right of every citizen of Venezuela to get money from government. So one of the richest oil-producing countries in the world became the poorest country, one of the poorest countries in the world today, from taking from the natural resources and giving people for free. Imagine there that you make this thing justiciable. Where will a country like Nigeria be? Even as it is, we're in a difficult enough position. So I want to say with humility that the idea behind this is for misuse and abuse. And so at a time like this, I would suggest that this should be withdrawn so we can continue the way we are and wait for a future. Like he said, that we should bring experts. Maybe in 10 years, 20 years, we'll find experts who can discuss the matter and then we'll look at it again. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You withdraw it.
I thought we should put the question. Round of reply? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. When this bill passes second reading today, it's going to be referred to the Committee on Constitutional Amendments, where, like my leader, Honorable Sayosai, said that we'll have the opportunity, the members and experts and consultants, to look at it. That's one. But I have also referred us, that is in the brief here, where the so-called objectives are listed in the Constitution from sections 13 to 21. And each of them starts with, government shall strive to do these things. Government shall strive. Okay, let me even just take 18. Government shall direct its policy towards ensuring that there are equal and adequate educational opportunities at all levels. Shall direct. This is compulsory. So that people have the right to go to court
does not mean that they will compel the court to give decisions in favor of anybody. Government shall strive, government shall direct its principles and policies towards this direction. Okay, the government is even actually doing some of these things here. Now they have said free compulsory and universal primary education. That is basic education. He has mentioned free secondary education. Some state governments have given. Free adult literacy program. Do we not need that like yesterday? In a situation where you have a state government keeping 20 billion of state money in an account. If somebody knows about that, can't somebody take that government to court and say, look, people require basic education here, and you are keeping money in a place like this that you're not accounting for? It's just to make people accountable.
Which says that?
Mr. Speaker, he's crossing to PDP soon. I will not call the name of the state. So, Mr. Speaker, that's basically what we are saying here. We are not, the law is not compelling anybody. That I have the right to take you to court today doesn't mean that I would get judgment. So, but Mr. Speaker, what we are saying is just to refer it to the Constitutional Amendment Committee, where we are working hard, and these things will be looking to. Thank you.
Sergius,
Sir.
I think you have watered down your argument more than urging us to believe what they are asking us to go for. Because if you are making a law that you know at the end of the day you are going to court and you are not going to have judgment in your favor or in favor of Nigerians, why are we then wasting our precious time? I thought you said it. No, he said it's to go to court is not to say that there will be a judgment for you in favor. If you are not going to look for good judgment in favor of what has been found to be a kind of an infringement of your own fundamental human right, why then are you doing the law, making the law? No, he's the one. But I thought again, taking from the readings he gave and the citations he brought from the Constitution, that the government shall direct through policies, strive, and I believe we are there. The question now is, those in favor that the bill raise second and say aye. Against say nay. The nays have it. You want to take the argument, the question again? The question now that the bill be read the second time. Those in favor say aye. Against say nay. They have it. The seventh order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principle of a bill for an act to convert and rename University of Ilorin Teaching Hospital Comprehensive Health Center, IHIMA, to Federal University of Lokoja Teaching Hospital, IHIMA, to provide for the management board and for related matters standing in no Honorable Joseph Asuku Bello. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 21st July 2020, and I invite Honorable Bello to move that the bill be read the second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my very distinguished colleagues. Honorable Engineer Joseph Asukubelo is my name, and I have the honor and privilege of representing the great people of Adavi, Okehi Federal Constituency. I am from Kogi State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move for a bill for an act to convert and rename the University of Ilorin Teaching Hospital Comprehensive Health Care Center, Ihima to Federal University of Lokoja Teaching Hospital, Ihima, to provide for management board and for related matters be read the second time. I so move.
Honorable Bagos.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I'm Dachu Musa Bagos, representing the good, great people of Jos South Justice Federal Constituency. From the peaceful state of Plateau, I rise to second the bill as moved by my honorable colleague, Joseph.
Lead the debate.
Thank you once again, Mr. Speaker, and my dear colleagues, for this opportunity to lead the debate on this bill that is in line with the Ninth Assembly's core agenda, which is to provide quality and affordable healthcare services to Nigerians. But let me preface my discussion by stating that this bill in no way intends to cast aspersion on the management of the the University of Ilorin Teaching Hospital. But this bill, this is a case of out of sight is out of mind. A brief history is this. The University of Ilorin Teaching Hospital Annex, also known as Comprehensive Healthcare Center Ihima, was established in 1987 and as at then was well staffed and equipped with facilities and infrastructure to enable it to perform the role of rendering comprehensive healthcare services not only to its immediate community, which included Okene Town, but also to the entire land area, which now constitutes Kogi State. But, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, due to state creation, the annex has now been situated in Kogi State, while the parent owner is situated in Kwara. And this disconnect has led to several problems, like lack of funds for the annex. The budgetary provision is a far cry from what it ought to be. Insufficient staffing. As of present, this healthcare center, this annex, is meant to cater for population over 200,000. But as I tell you, as of today, it has only one doctor, few nurses, no pharmacists, and I think about 3 technicians. So how can it serve the population? Most of my constituents now have to travel all the way from my constituency to Lokoja, sometimes to Abuja, and we all know the state of our roads for medical care that could have been gotten at this center. The equipment is nothing to write home about. The structures are dilapidated. They don't have an ambulance. They don't have basic drugs. And also, the advantage of having this annex turned into a teaching hospital is the Kogi State University medical students for training. That's how far they have to commit. So, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I don't want to bore you with too much details, but this is just a summary of the picture of what we're facing. My constituents are facing serious hardship when it comes to medical care. And we've seen since 2020, with COVID and other diseases, how important healthcare is to Nigerians. And it behoves on us as lawmakers to provide laws and what will help our constituents. So with this, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I plead that you allow this bill passed for second reading. I so.
The Speaker, colleagues, the question now is that those in favor that the bill related to its content say aye. Against any, that's have it. Clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to convert and rename University of Ilorin Teaching Hospital Comprehensive Health Center, Ihima, to Federal University of Lokoja Teaching Hospital, Ihima, to provide for management board and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to Committee on Health Institutions. Respected colleagues, the eighth order of the day is a motion on call for federal government's intervention in cancer treatment in Nigeria. Standing now, Honorable Olubumi Olusegun Dokun is invited to move the motion.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. Odebumi Shegun is my name. I represent the good people of Surulere Ogolua Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, federal government intervention in cancer treatment in Nigeria. The House note that on the 29th December 2017, President Muhammadu Buhari signed the bill for the establishment of the National Institute for Cancer Research and treatment of cancer patients in Nigeria. Also note that in 2018, the federal government launched the National Cancer Control Plan, which is to be implemented between January 2018 to December 2022. And with the proposed budget estimates of 97,321,725,422 naira 53 kobo. Aware that both the federal and the state government are required to provide 75% of the funding to implement the plan, while donor and development partner will support the bridging the funding gap of 25%. They worry that in 2018 alone, Nigeria recorded an estimated of 116,000 new cancer cases with 41,000 mortalities. And since then, the mortality rate keeps increasing, with breast and cervical cancers within the major causes of the mortality cases. Also worry that despite the increasing rate of the new cases, only 4 out of the 8 treatment centers in the countries are functional. Concerned that Nigerians barely have access to cancer specialists for proper go through the complete section of radiotherapy, an approximated amount of 750,000 is needed. An amount Nigerian sovereign institutions and healthcare services to investigate the federal government implementations of the National Cancer Control Plan 2018 to 2022 to ensure its implementations. Also, treatment for cancer patients. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Yusuf Ahmed Bado, member representing Shanona Bagwai Federal Constituency. I'm from Kano State, Mr. Speaker. I stand to second the motion heavily raised by my honorable colleague. I so second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
I guess your motion is very elaborate. So, with your permission, can I put the question? Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That is serve it. Respected colleagues, the ninth order of the day is a motion on need to investigate the operations of the National Population Commission on record keeping of births and deaths in Nigeria. Standing now, Honorable Mohammed Awal Jatau. Honorable Jatau is invited to put the motion. I don't know whether you have taken the advice from the whip.
Yeah.
Then it's for you now to ask the House to stepping down the motion by the Leader of the House for further legislative actions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Distinguished colleagues, I am Jato Mohammed Awal, representing the hardworking, tax-paying, peace-loving, and law-abiding people of Daki Federal Constituency. I am from a state of peace, hospitality, and service. I'm standing to request and crave the indulgence of Mr. Speaker and my distinguished colleagues to read my motion on the need to investigate the operations of National Population Commission on record keeping. Just a couple of minutes back, I wish to request that the House allow me to step down this motion and consult more and come up with it possibly tomorrow. I so moved, Mr. Speaker.
Motion stepped down by the Leader of the House. Let's recall the 11th order of the day. Honorable Kazauri is invited. Still have another one? Okay, sorry. Sorry, please. The 10th order of the day is a motion on call to rehabilitate the Amanse Uguba road axis of Enugu Onitsha Expressway standing now on Sam Chinedu. Honorable Chinedu is invited to the motion. Honorable Chinedu. Honorable Chinedu is not on the floor, so motion stepped down by the Leader of the House. Respected colleagues, the 11th order of the day is a motion on call to investigate the presidential youth empowerment scheme, standing now Honorable Mohammed Kazauri. Honorable Kazauri is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My highly respected colleagues, my name is Honorable Mohammed Gudaji Kazaure, member representing Kazaure, Roni, Wiwa, and Mkwashi. Mr. Speaker, I am from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, my highly respected colleague, I rise to move a motion on call to investigate the Presidential Youth Empowerment Scheme. The House notes that on 12 October 2020, President Muhammadu Buhari launched the Presidential Youth Empowerment Scheme in Abuja, aimed at creating at least 774,000 empowerment local government across the 6 geopolitical zone in the effort of the federal government to eradicate unemployment among the teeming youth. Aware that the primary role of the scheme is to provide solution to the Nigerian youth unemployment challenges through the execution of empowerment initiatives. The House also notes that the scheme will be accessible to the literate, semi-literate, and the non-literate population, and the entry qualification is the ability and the capacity to learn and be teachable. Worried that since the scheme was launched in 2020, it is yet to be implemented despite application by the Nigerian youth. Resolve, invite the coordinator of the scheme, the senior special assistant to the president on youth and student affairs, to explain to Nigerian reason for the non-implementation of the scheme despite the presidential directives. 2, constitute an ad hoc committee to investigate reason for the non-implementation of the scheme and report back within 2 weeks for further legislative action. 3, mandate the Committee on Appropriation to capture the scheme in the 2022 budget estimate. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Galambi.
My name is Honorable Yusuf Galambi. I represent Goram Federal Constituency and I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, I raise to second the motion ably moved by Honorable Budaji Kazaure. Mr. Speaker, I so second.
Is speculative? Maybe allow Budaji to throw in more light so that we will understand if it is speculative. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, my highly respected colleagues. I remain Honorable Mohammed Budaji Kazaure, member representing Kazaure, Roni, Biwa, and Enkwashi. Mr. Speaker, I am from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, this motion and my highly respected colleagues is very important motion because we are all here representing our people. And the main issue that cause all the challenges we are facing today in our society is lack of employment. Most of our teeming youth, some are graduated, some never go to school, they are stranded in our various constituencies, having no job to do, which is the main issue that cause crime, highly rate of crime in the society. Lack of employment. And this government comes with different initiatives to employ Nigerian people, different initiatives so that to eradicate unemployment in the society. This initiative is the first of its kind that Mr. President himself launched this program inside the presidential villa, which is the first in the history of this nation. That president launched an empowerment program inside the presidential villa. And in the presence of Mr. Speaker, heavily represented by the respected leader of the House, in the presence of Senate President, almost all the nearly 20 governors, in the presence of ministers, all the federal government cabinet. So since that time, the issue is, the program is to empower at least 1,000 persons per local government. That is what President approved through the Office of the Senior Special Assistants on Youth and Student Affairs, who is the initiative of the, he initiates the program, which later Mr. President approved it. So my highly respected colleagues, this issue is issue of 1,000 person per local government. And this issue is, they construct different issues of business. And I am sure members will be witness. They bring two people to this house and they give us form. We have filled that form, PES program, which yet there is no implementation. But the problem is, since Mr. President approved the program, he expects this program has already done, because I investigate, I went to the office of the SSA, why this program, because it's a laudable achievement, why it's not implemented. He told me this issue is only House will intervene, because he too, he don't know why there is no funding after presidential has approved this laudable achievement program. So that is why we want to invite the SSA to come to explain to the House why this program is not implemented. And because of the time, that is why we are calling the House to consider this program, to put it in, to capture it into the 2022 budget estimate, so that in the next year, we can empower at least 1,000 youth in our local government areas. And this is very good achievement. It will help us, it will help the government, it will help we, representative of the people. So that is why I need your support. I need your support, because this motion is the issue of empowering unemployment. And that is why we are here to create employment to our Nigerian people. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Amendment? Yes, sir. Yeah, request.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable colleagues. Manusura Mansour, representing Darazoganjua Federal Constituency. I'm from Bauchi State. Mr. Speaker, I want to state that I maintained a very good relationship with the Office of the Special Assistant to the President in question. And I want to categorically state here that the glitches that this implementation is having lies with challenges in securing funding from the Ministry of Finance as well as the Appropriation Committee. So I want to suggest that since this very motion falls under the purview of the House Committee on Poverty Alleviation, I want to suggest that we should mandate the House Committees on Appropriation and Poverty Alleviation to interface with the Office of the SA in question with the bill to resolve these challenges. I so amend. Thank you.
Is it under poverty alleviation? What about labor? Labor. It's under labor. Thank you. No, you can include all the other relevant committees that have something to do, but the lead committee should be labor because it's under the scheme under labor and productivity. I believe this is a scheme handled by Kiamu. Am I right? Thank you, sir. Huh? Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Seconder. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Ado Sanikili, representing the people of Ringin and Taura. I'm from Jigawa State. I rise to second the motion as ably moved by my honorable colleague. I so second.
In favor of the amendment, say aye. Against, say nay. That's have it. I don't know. Can we take a look at prayer 1 of the motion? Sir, Isaka.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Ibrahim Ayakuni Isaka, for Ewiko Federal Constituency. The first issue is about the arrangement of the prayers. The arrangement of the prayers, Mr. Speaker, that's the 1, 2, 3. Sorry? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's prayer 2. So now, I know I said the arrangement costed. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, since prayer 2 had already been amended, and even the amendment, distinguished honorable colleague, MMS, should have been to say we want to amend prayer 2. And since that had carried the day, then 1 and 3 is of no essence since it's going to now be an investigative hearing, Mr. Speaker. I so submit.
It was the amendment of 2.
Thank you. Seconder. Honorable Siaka, speak to.
Okay, I address the chair. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I think my honorable colleague, what he tried to get wrong is as if the House does not want to investigate the matter and call it to answer to this and have it done. Since prayer 2 had already been amended and it is reading the tone of investigative hearing, there is no need for prayer 1 and 3. But the contention here is this program to be included in the budget for year 2020. An appropriation is already part of it, of the program. So now prayer 2, now, instead of constitute an ad hoc committee, now reads that the committees on youth, labor.
Let me help you, Isaka.
Yes, sir.
What has taken place now is that prayer 3, where it's seeking to constitute an ad hoc committee, have been taken care of by amending to give the committees of labor, youth, finance, appropriation to look into the matter.
Yes, sir.
Possibly to may even solve the issue of including the appropriation. It depends on what they find. What we are not comfortable possibly is when you say invite the coordinator to brief Nigerians, at what fora?
That's why I said one should be deleted, sir.
Thank you. It's simple.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I cannot amend from here.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Abubakar Hassan Nalaraba is my name. I represent the good people of Awedo, Makiana Federal Constituency. I am from Nasarawa State. I rise to second the...
That's it. Mama, you have an amendment. Okay, thank you. Yes, Fatu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Honorable Fatu Muhammad, member from Katsina State, representing Daura Sandamu Amiadwa. Well, Mr. Speaker, under the presidency, and is answerable to the office of the Chief of Staff, not the ministry. So I believe this committee, the second prayer, should engage the office of the Chief of Staff to find out the status quo of this program. Thank you.
Thank you. Is it an amendment? Sure, as to maybe advisory. For the amendment? Okay. Those in favor of the motion as amended say aye. Against say nay. That's have it. Motion on need to provide adequate security measures in federal government and private schools in Nigeria, standing on Honorable Tayo Oluga. Honorable Oluga is invited to the motion. Chairman rules.
Mr. Speaker, Honorable Oluga, Tayo Oluga is not on the floor. I move that the motion be stepped down by the leader of the House.
Motion stepped down by the leader of the House. The 14th order of the day is motion on the devastating ocean surge in coastal community of Ogborodo. Okay. Sorry, I'm faster than my. The 13th order of the day is a motion on need to create an economic revenue road map for the future of Nigeria, standing in Honorable Dennis Idahosa. Honorable Idahosa is invited to the motion.
So, Speaker, it seems, okay.
He's here. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Dennis Idahosa. I represent Ovia Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Edo State. I rise to move a motion on the need to create an economic revenue roadmap for the future of Nigeria. The House notes that the 26th meeting of the Conference Party to the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, UNICOP 26, focusing on addressing the economic crisis in decades ahead, was held in Glasgow from 31st of October to 12th of November 2021. The House aware that a resolution was passed at the UNICOP 26 2021 summit in Glasgow on the 12th of November 2021 Celsius compared to the pre-industrial level. The House also notes that the parties at the Paris Agreement adopted on the COP21 in Paris on the 12th of December 2015, entering into force on the 4th of November 2016, are expected to transit from fossil fuel to clean energy and reach a net zero ambition for the greenhouse gases emission. The House also cognizant that the oil and gas sector is the Nigeria biggest revenue generating sector, accounting for over 65% of the country's total revenue, with a production capacity of 25 million barrels per day. The House also aware that all over the world, and with the advent of rapid technological advancement, the need for fossil fuel and hydrocarbon is declining. Some countries like Sweden, China, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, and many other countries are taking action that will lead to complete dependence on renewable energy soon. Concerned that following the recent resolution by major countries at the UN COP26 2021 summit, the country like Nigeria, which depend mainly on hydrocarbon and fossil fuel for revenue and survival, would be the worst hit, except careful and intervention precautions are taken to secure the future of the country. Worried that Nigeria has come up with a futuristic plan in the past Vision 2020 plan, and the desired result was not fully achieved. Aware that Nigeria has numerous potential resources of revenue, and if attention is not, that the President, while delivering his statement at the COP26 leadership or leaders summit, further emphasized for Nigeria, the climate change is not about the fury of tomorrow, but with the happening today, pledged that Nigeria will cut its emission to net zero by 2060. Further note that the President has recently stated from an expert source that the viability of fossil fuel and hydrocarbon is speculated to last for another 20 years, which gives the nation time to utilize the benefit of the nation. Resolved, mandate the Committee on Climate Change, Gas Resources, Environment, Petroleum Resources Upstream, Solid Mineral to liaise with relevant stakeholders with the mandate of providing 10 years framework for the utilization of current resources towards the developing other sector and report back within 12 weeks for further legislative action. The House also mandates.
Yes, sir. Katsina.
Colleagues, Amin Ashimani is my name, representing Binda Mani. Mr. Speaker, I am from Katsina State. I rise to second the motion heavily moved by my colleagues, and I so second. Thank you.
Colleagues, I believe this is a very elaborate motion, so I now put the question. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That's subject. That's because the 14 order of there is motion in question the community of Ogborodo, Wari South local government area of Delta State, standing now on Thomas. Honorable Thomas invited to the motion.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleague. My name is Chief Thomas Erintomi. I represent the people of Wari South, Wari North, and Wari Southwest. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Delta State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move a motion for the devastating ocean sword in coastal communities of Borodo, Wari Southwest local government area of Delta State. The House notes the devastating ocean surge that ravaged coastal settlement in Borodo in Wari Southwest local government area, rendering residents homeless, submerged considerable parts of the area, destroy properties and means of livelihood. Also note the recurrent ocean surges and coastal erosion in addition to the increased rainfall that disrupt the activities of multinational oil companies through oil exploration and exploitation. Concerned that the main occupation of coastal residents and neighboring riverine settlement is fishing. Thus, the effect of the ocean surge has rendered them helpless and jobless. Worried that despite the repeated calls and resolutions of this House on the need to address the menace of ocean surge ravaging Borodo, Ogidigbe, Orere, Oreye, Dimigu, Apapa, Ajudaibo, Madaru, Kokodiagbeno, Upama, and other communities in Warri Federal Constituency of Delta State, nothing has been done to mitigate the devastating effect borne by these communities. Also concerned that the recent surge has not only rendered the residents of the community homeless, but also pose a threat to health of the residents, which may lead to disease outbreak, thus increasing the risk of transmitting COVID-19 as residents has resorted to makeshift settler. Resolved to urge the National Emergency Management Agency to provide the relief material to the residents of the affected communities. 2, to also urge the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management, and Social Development to ensure that the displaced families in the communities are rehabilitated. 3, urge the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency to provide drugs, vaccines, and medical personnel to affected community to help combat any impending outbreak. 4, mandate the committees on emergency and disaster preparedness and health care service delivery to ensure compliance. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleague, I so move.
Seconder. Yes, sir. Ali.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ali Adeyemi Taufik is my name. I speak for people of Mushi, one fire constituency in Lagos. I rise to second the motion that's moved by my colleague and friend, Honorable Thomas Ireitomi from Delta State. I so second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That's have it. The 15th order of the day is a motion on urgent need for inclusion of omitted projects in 2022 budget estimates. Standing Honorable Eta Mbora. Honorable Mbora is invited to the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Eta Mbora. I speak for Calabar, Odugban Federal Constituency. I rise to estimate for Calabar, Odugban Federal Constituency. The House knows that the responsibility of government through its ministries, agencies, parastatals are the provision of basic social and municipal infrastructures for development and to provide a conducive environment for the citizens to harness their potentials to improve their standard of living. Also note that the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs was established in 2008 with the core mandate to develop the oil-rich Niger Delta region to curb hostilities, militancy, while developing infrastructure to promote diversification and productivity. However, President Muhammad Buhari, in the budget presentation speech, emphasized the need to make provision for completion of existing projects before contemplating the initiation of new ones. Worried that the road project awarded in Calabar Municipal Urban Federal Constituency had commenced but was abandoned halfway due to funding challenges, and the project, if not completed, may become an economic waste to government and the people benefiting from it. Resolved to, Mr. Speaker, with the leave of the House, I wish to slightly amend the prayer to include the name and location of the project. I so move, sir.
Konda? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Musa Mohammed Adamu. I represent Babura and Garki Federal Constituency. I'm from Jigawa State. I rise to second the motion heavily moved by my honorable colleague. I so second.
This is an infrastructure related motion, so I now put the question. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That's have it. Whip. Yes, sir. Your attention. Respected colleagues, the 16th order of the day is consideration of report of the Committee on Commerce on a bill for an act to establish Institute of Professional Secretarial Staff of Nigeria and for related matters. Honored members will recall that the report was laid on Thursday, 8 July 2021, and Honorable Olufemi Fakaye will move for his consideration.
To consider the report of the Committee on Commerce on the bill for an act to establish the Institute of Professional Secretarial Staff of Nigeria and for related matters, and approve the recommendations therein. I so request.
Honorable Jega.
Alorugondo Federal Constituency. I rise to second the motion heavily moved by my honorable colleague with the consideration of report. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Against say nay. That's have it. The so-called 17th order of the day is consideration of report of the Committee on Treaties, Protocols, and Agreements on a bill for an act to enable effect to be given to the Federal Republic of Nigeria to the ECOWAS Convention on Small Arms and Light Weapons, their ammunition and other related materials, and for related matters. Honorable members recall that the report was laid on Tuesday, 9 November 2021. Honorable Osai Nicholas is invited for his consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues. I remain Honorable Osai Nicholas Osai. I represent Doko Kwani Federal Constituency of Delta State. I move, Mr. Speaker, that the House do consider the report of the Committee on Treaties, Protocols, and Agreement on a bill for an act to enable effect to be given in the Federal Republic of Nigeria to the ECOWAS Convention on Small Arms and Light Weapons, their ammunitions, and other related materials, and for related matter, HB 1413, and approve the recommendation therein. I so move.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Respected colleagues, QS Ari Mohammed Abdul Momin, MNI QS, member representing Nasrat Soto Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion, heavily moved by a colleague, as so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. The so-called the 16th order of the day is consideration of report of the Committee on Commerce. The 17th order of the day is consideration of report of the Committee on The 18th order of the day is consideration of report of the Committee on Telecommunications on the bill for an act to repeal the Nigerian Postal Service Act Cap N127 Laws of Federation of Nigeria 2004 and establish the Nigerian Postal Communication to make comprehensive provisions for the development and regulation of postal service and related matters. Honorable members recall that the report was laid on Thursday, 15 July 2021. Honorable Akim Adeyemi will move for his consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Distinguished honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Akim Adeyemi. I rise to move that the House do consider the report on a bill for an act to repeal the Nigerian Postal Service Act, Cap N127, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and establish the Nigerian Postal Commission to make comprehensive provision for the development and regulation of postal services and for related matters, and approve the recommendation therein. I so move.
Yes.
Thank you, the Right Honorable Speaker.
constituency. Mr. Speaker, my respected colleagues,
The motion say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader, move that the House do resolve into the committee of the whole to consider reports.
I'm Comrade Peter Ohanzoji Akpatasin, representing the great people of Akoko Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I move that this House do resolve to the Committee of the Whole to consider a report. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Konda. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable James Adisawulabi, representing the good people of Ifakoja Federal Constituency. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my honorable colleagues. I so second, sir.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. The House is hereby dissolved into committee of the whole to consider the report. Respected colleagues, Provincial Secretariat,
Institute of Professional Secretarial Staff of Nigeria, and for related matters, HP 350, and approve the recommendations therein. I so move.
Thank you, sir. Clause 1. Clause 2. Six, 16, 17. $18 is on page what? Page what? 34. Are you sure? 34 is correct. $19. We have 19. The next page. 20. Citation. Schedules. Long title. Ogafaka, we just gave it to you. Somebody wanted to stop you, but I won't mention his name. Did I mention your name? Respected colleagues, the second bill to be considered for an act to enable effect to be given to the Federal Republic of Nigeria to the ECOWAS Convention on Small Arms and Light Arms and light weapons, their ammunition and other related materials. I now invite Honorable Osai to give the synopsis of the report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, and distinguished honorable colleagues. The Foundation, Section 3, Subsection A, DC of the Treaty Making Procedure Act is on this basis ECOWAS conventions was done. And I believe that the chairman of the committee has been in ECOWAS for some time, and conventions have been passed by Parliament and head of state. It is in this convention to give effect, in line with Section 12, that this bill is predicated upon. But what happened, Mr. Chairman, is that in bringing this bill, it was put as center, that a center will be formed to be able to enable them administer this convention. But when you look at Article 24 of the Convention 99 on the establishment of National Commission and not Center. So what we did, because the convention says we should establish the commission and not center. So if you watch the amendment, we also amended it to put a commission to give effect to the convention, because commission is stronger than a center. I think that is the synopsis of this bill. This bill was proposed by the majority leader and the minority whip of the House, and it's one of those bills that was tabled in Lagos, which Speaker constituted a committee to deal with.
I'm a little bit taken aback, sorry sir, because that's why I'm trying to consult.
Okay.
I know that all treaties are supposed to be ratified by National Assembly before it becomes a law. And I'm asking as to whether with the procedure we're now adopting is what we're supposed to be doing.
Sir?
The procedure, this is an ECOWAS treaty that was signed by Nigerian government.
Yeah, well, you know,
from ECOWAS protocols.
It's the convention, nothing.
Thank you. My query is about the procedure of what we're doing.
Yeah, it's correct. The procedure is correct. But what happened is that the House passed a resolution to transmit these conventions, which was transmitted. And secondly, the Speaker consulted a committee headed by the majority leader and the Chief Whip, who moved that bill for this, and all of us went to Lagos to look at the bill before it was assigned to my committee.
No, if it is a convention, we can't. Traditionally, it's provided from the Constitution, and that's what I'm asking.
Yeah,
because if you now commit to committee of the whole, it means then we can alter, and that's not the procedure.
Sir?
It means then the committee can alter.
The convention cannot be altered, and it was not altered. The only thing the convention say we should do, National Assembly,
is to ratify.
No, sir. See, in Section 24.
Okay.
Look at Article 24. You have it, Article 24.
Yes.
I read. Can I read, sir?
Yes, sir.
The article of the implementation of this convention. The state parties which have not yet done so shall establish through regulation or legislation at national commission in accordance with and security and with the enforcement of the decision of the Conference of Head of State and Government on December 10, 1999 on the establishment of National Commission for the Fight Against